Hello dear students, welcome to my channel. Through this video, let us discuss another important topic under the head profits and gains of business or profession, that is general deduction as per section 37 subsection 1. While computing the business income or professional income, any item which are to be deducted is found but could not be adjusted as per the above discussed section 30 to 36, then that deduction has to be adjusted here, or that deduction may be adjusted here if it satisfies certain conditions. The condition 1 is the expenditure should not be of the nature described in section 30 to 36. It should be in respect of a business or profession carried on by the assessee and the profits and gains of which are to be computed and assessed. It should not be in the nature of personal expenditure of the assessee. It should have been laid out or expended wholly and exclusively for the purpose of such business or profession. It should not be in the nature of a capital expenditure, and it should relate to the relevant previous year. If these conditions are satisfied, then we can take or we can consider such an item deducting from the profit of the business or profession. Certain examples are: first one, expenses incurred in the purchase, manufacture and sale of goods. General expenses incurred in the day-to-day running of the business. Expenses incurred in defending a case for damage for breach of contract. The amount of VAT paid and expenses incurred in connection with VAT proceeding, including appeals. Compensation paid to an undesirable employee for the retrenchment of his service or to a director to get rid of his service. Contribution made to Provident Fund maintained for the benefit of employees under an act with the previous approval of a state government may not be allowable under section 36 subsection 1 clause 4, but allowable under section 37(1). Commission etc. paid for securing orders for the business. Compensation paid to employees in connection with the injury sustained by them or accident met by them while on duty. Royalty paid in connection with mines. Insurance premium paid under a policy insuring its employees against injury or against liability for compensation in respect of accident to its workmen. Reasonable expenses incurred on the occasion of Dussehra, Diwali, commencement of the business, etc. shall be permitted under section 37. Compulsory subscription or a subscription given to an association in the interest of the business. Legal expenses incurred in connection with the business or profession. 1. In the normal course of the business. Second, to avoid a business liability. Third, to defend the assessee's title to his assets. Next is to terminate a disadvantageous trading relationship, to resist a winding up petition by some shareholders. The legal expenditure incurred by a director of a company in defending a suit brought against him to challenge the validity of his election as director, as it is incurred to save his income from the source. Interest on unpaid purchase price of any business assets purchased by an assessee and put to use will be allowed. expenditure incurred to oppose nationalization or to prevent extinction of the business. Under executive instruction, cost of installing new telephone. Normal advertisement expenditure incurred to maintain the sales not covered by section 37(2)(b). Penalty paid by the assessee for saving from confiscation the goods which he purchased from a third party without knowing that they had been illegally imported. Amount paid by a director of a company in liquidation for compounding misfeasance proceedings started against him by the liquidator. Welfare expenditure incurred by the assessee. Payment of excise duty. Guarantee fee paid to the government for loan obtained for purchase of machinery. Expenditure incurred in connection with the alterations made in the memorandum of association or articles of association of a company if these alterations are warranted by the changes made in the Companies Act 2013. If an assessee stands surety for the debt of another, and it is usual in this trade to guarantee debts, any payment made as a result of such a guarantee may be allowed as business loss. Professional tax levied by local authority, the payment of which is necessary conditions for the carrying on the business within the area of a local authority. Rebate granted by cooperative stores to their members on the value of the purchase made by them. The interest payable on arrears of cess is in the nature of compensation paid to the government, paid for the delay in the payment of cess and not as a penalty. Hence, it is deductible. Similarly, interest paid for delay in payment of municipal taxes is also allowable as a deduction. Amount spent by an assessee in purchasing loom hours is deductible as a revenue expenditure. Loom hour here means it is the right to use that machine for a particular time. For example, X has installed a loom in his factory and his factory time is between 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. X has made arrangement and an agreement with Y to use the loom from 5 p.m. to 5 a.m. This a contract is said to be loom hours. So if such a contract is signed and any amount expended on that for purchasing the loom hours, then it will be considered as a business expenditure as per section 37 subsection 1. Annual listing fee paid to stock exchange by a public limited company is allowed as a deduction. Amount paid as damages to the government department for delay in the execution of contracts was held to be an allowable deduction if the delay was inherent in the nature of business carried on by the assessee. Interest levied for failure to pay installment of the assets purchased on hire purchase basis is allowable deduction. Expenditure incurred on inauguration ceremony is allowable. Similarly, expenditure incurred on foreign tour of a director for the purpose of expansion of business of the managed company is allowable expenditure. Wife of chairman cum managing director accompanying him for fulfilling social aspects. Expenses incurred on foreign tour of wife are deductible expenditure. Liability to pay debenture premium is to be spread over the years between date of issue and date of redemption. Payment towards Flag Day Fund is a deductible item. One-time expenditure incurred on club membership fee and ISO certification is also allowable as a revenue expenditure. Ex-gratia payment made by an assessee to retiring employee is deductible item. premium paid on the Keyman insurance policy of a partner of a firm shall be deductible item. Provisions made for the medical benefit of the employees after retirement is also an allowable item. Legal and professional expenses incurred towards buyback of shares is also an allowable item. So my dear friends, these are certain allowable items, but the condition is that these items should not have been included in section 30 to 36 that as per the normal provision. And here it is considered as a residuary provision, an item, an expense, a deductible item which is found out but could not be placed in the above mentioned category that will be coming here. So these items can be deducted as per section 37 subsection 1. There are few allowable losses too. They are robbery or dacoity, or embezzlement or theft, or loss due to non-recovery of advances. Robbery or dacoity means any loss caused by robbery or dacoity is not deductible in the normal course, but if it is incidental to business, it will be allowed as deduction, and this depends upon the specific circumstances and conditions. For example, if cash is spent for disbursement at different centers by a sugar factory in rural area, it is incidental to business and is therefore it is allowed. Any loss due to robbery in a bank will be allowed as the bank is under an obligation to maintain some cash outside the strong room for payments. Similarly, embezzlement, theft, etc. The loss of money due to embezzlement by an employee handling the funds of the business while discharging his official duties is allowed as deduction. It is deductible when discovered. When an employee goes to bank to deposit the cash or takes cash with him for disbursement and he takes away the money for his own use, even then the loss is allowable. Theft by a cashier who is in charge of cash is also an allowable loss. A theft committed either by an employee or by someone else by breaking open into the business premises after the office hours is also an allowable item. Loss due to non-recovery of advances. If it is the practice in a business to give advance money to the suppliers, and if the supplier neither supplies the order nor refunds the advance money, the loss sustained by the assessee is incidental to business and is therefore allowable. So my dear friends, this section 37 subsection 1 is a residuary section which deals with deduction. If any expenses or deductible item could not be placed as per the various sections, that is section 30 to 36, then it will be considered under these circumstances. Hope this concept is clear. If this video is useful, kindly share it with your friends and others in your contact. If you have any comment or suggestion, kindly put it in the comment box. If you have not subscribed my channel, please make it. Thank you very much for watching Doctor's Academy for Taxation and Accounting.